Good morning and welcome to Time in the Word. I've enjoyed the first week of our look at the lives of the 12 apostles. I think Dave and Chris have done an excellent job in that, and I'm excited to be able to share with you again today. This morning we're going to be looking at another one of the obscure apostles. We'll be spending our time looking at James, the son of Alphaeus. Who was James, the son of Alphaeus? There are three people named James in the New Testament, but James, the son of Alphaeus, is only mentioned, really explicitly mentioned, in the four lists of disciples. But here's the big thing that we can share about James, the son of Alphaeus. He is one of the 12. Some of the disciples' callings receive special attention in the Gospels. Jesus calls Peter, Andrew, James, and John while they're tending to their fishing boats. He calls Matthew or Levi while he is sitting at his tax booth. But James, the son of Alphaeus, does not get this kind of attention. We don't have any real recording of when he was called. We don't have any recording of anything that he particularly himself did. But we do know that he was one of the 12. As we noted, the New Testament lists all 12 apostles four times. In Matthew 10, verses 2 to 4. In Mark 3, verses 14 to 19. In Luke 6, 13 to 16. And in Acts 1, 13 to 16. And there are a few variations in the order the apostles appear, and even sometimes their names are referred to just a little bit differently. But James, the son of Alphaeus, is listed in all of them. He's never mentioned in the Gospel of John, but John doesn't have an exhaustive list of all the apostles. James, the son of Alphaeus, well, he is one of the more obscure of Jesus' 12 disciples. We know better James, the son of Zebedee, a disciple of Jesus. He's clearly a different James than the one we see here. The other James that we know pretty well is James, the brother of Jesus. He was one of the leaders in the church at Jerusalem after Jesus' ascension, and he authored the New Testament book of James. But that's not our guy today. That's not James, the son of Alphaeus. Throughout history, church historians, biblical scholars have proposed theories about who James, the son of Alphaeus, was. He's sometimes known as James the Less or James the Younger, based on Mark 15:40. This might be referring to his age or his physical stature. It might be in reference to his prominence among the disciples. There are some scholars that think that James's father Alphaeus might very well be the husband of Mary, the wife of Clopas. The idea that Clopas might be another name for Alphaeus. That's possible. Another theory arises from the pages of history. It is directly connected to the name Alphaeus itself. It links the apostle to Matthew. Matthew is called Levi, son of Alphaeus, in Mark 2:14, when Jesus calls him to leave his life behind and join his ministry. And some have questioned if James, the son of Alphaeus, and Matthew, the tax collector, are brothers. Now, I suppose on the surface that might seem to be a logical conclusion, but I really don't think that's the case. There are two other sets of brothers, Simon, Peter, and Andrew, James and John, the sons of Zebedee, and those brothers, both pairs, are explicitly called out as brothers. We don't see that with Matthew and James. Probably they were not related. James, the son of Alphaeus, works in anonymity. But we can conclude that he was a faithful servant of Jesus Christ. He is just as much an apostle as those who were featured more prominently in the biblical narrative. People like Peter, John. James, the son of Alphaeus, was a witness to the years of Jesus' ministry on earth. James, the son of Alphaeus, witnessed his miracles. James, the son of Alphaeus, was there with them in the garden. James, the son of Alphaeus, saw the post-resurrection appearances of Jesus. He was empowered by the Holy Spirit, and he became a leader in the early church. Tradition suggests that James, the son of Alphaeus, went to Persia, modern-day Iran, and preached and spoke of Jesus as the Christ, the Messiah. Tradition also asserts that James, the son of Alphaeus, was martyred there for his faith. So what's the key takeaway for me from the life and ministry of James, the son of Alphaeus? Well, I think it's this. Our faith in Jesus Christ and our obedience to him matters greatly, whether that's seen by many or seen by few. We know the more well-known apostles, Peter, James, John. We know their stories. We know their faith. Even Thomas and Philip, we know those guys pretty well. But we don't know a lot about James, the son of Alphaeus. His living out faith and his obedience to God was done apart from the spotlight. But it mattered greatly. And I think that's quite a testament for us. Those of us who live outside the spotlight are called to follow the example of James, son of Alphaeus. Be faithful, even when no one but God is looking. Though we know relatively little about him, James, the son of Alphaeus, is known fully by God and is honored alongside the other apostles. James, the less he might have been called, was in no way lesser in God's estimation. And the same is true for all of us who will faithfully follow God in whatever lot in life we are given. Remember, earthly recognition holds little value in God's kingdom. What matters is faithfully following the Lord, living for his glory, whether or not anyone else notices, because God is always watching. That's the lesson I think we learn from James, the son of Alphaeus. Hey, thank you for joining in with me today. I hope you have a great Monday. Chris will be back Wednesday, and until then, may you be blessed and may you be a blessing to others.